Conference season is underway in many academic and professional fields. This video is all about how to prepare for conferences so that you can get the most out of them. Whether you are a seasoned conference attendee or someone who's attending a conference for the first time, there's something in this video for everyone. Take it from me, a PhD candidate who's previously worked in higher education administration, who's attended their fair share of academic and professional conferences. If we're meeting for the first time, hi, my name is Jacqueline Beaulieu, and if you want to know what I do to prepare for conferences, why, and how you can do it too, stick around and keep watching. So let's assume this conference is happening out of town and you need to book a place to stay. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is that you find a place that is A, affordable, but B, also reasonably comfortable. You want to be well rested throughout the entire conference so that you can, get the most out of it, that you can learn, that you are in a good spot to meet people and connect with them. So that's really important. You also want to take into consideration what the food situation is at your accommodation. So for example, are there any facilities that you can use to make some little snacks or breakfasts or things like that? Just things that are going to help you to have the best possible experience, the best possible energy going into each day. I have a similar policy when booking air flights, and that is that I used to book flights at really early times in the morning to try and save whatever money I could as a grad student, but I realized that had a really big impact on how I was experiencing the conferences because I would show up and I would be really tired. And so what I do now is, as long as the difference isn't, all that great, I'll book a flight later in the day and fly during the day and just get there well rested and in a good spot ready to go. Also make sure to pick up any airline points that you're eligible for because those can come in handy for future conferences. I know that I have actually been able to pay for full flights for conferences using air mile points. So I would strongly recommend you to just know the points situation and take advantage of those. So I have two tips about packing. The first is a conference packing list. I've had this list since I was in my first year of graduate studies and I've just kept adjusting it throughout the years. I love it. What's great about it is as long as I pack everything on this list, I know that I will be good to go for the conference, and it just takes a lot of the stress out of packing. In terms of some of the less common things that are on my packing list, one of the first things is this little card box. It contains my business card holder, extra business cards, as well as thank you notes, because as a grad student, you never know when someone's gonna do something nice for you at a conference, say, take you out for a meal or something like that. And it can mean a lot when you write a thank you card and hand it to them at the conference later on. So this is one thing that I've actually used a lot, and I love that it's in this box because I can just throw it in my suitcase and I'm ready to go. The next thing that I like to pack that might not be on everyone's packing list is this Mophie battery, external battery. It actually can power my laptop, my iPad, my iPhone. What's really great about this is that especially at conference centers, there's not necessarily a lot of outlets, and you find all these people sitting on the floor trying to repower their devices. What's amazing about this is that you can be powering those devices while you're sitting in a session, while you're walking around, while you're at the airport. It just really is something that I find very helpful, and it was a little bit of an investment, but totally worth it, and has definitely added to the ease of my conference experience. And if you'd like a closer look at this Mophie Powerstation, I'll provide a link to it in the description section. The other thing that I really like to bring to conferences is my iPad. It's more portable than a laptop to lug around. I actually also have cellular connectivity, so if I really need to be able to download something, I can. But I actually take all of my notes, both typed and handwritten, on Notability on the iPad. I should probably do a video about that in the future, so let me know in the comments below if you would like to see how I use Notability to take all of my notes for my PhD as well as at conferences. But what's also really great about the iPad is that if you're sitting in a session and you want to take a picture of something and put it into your notes, that's very easy to do, a presenter slide or something like that. I also really like using my iPad on the airplane to listen to music, watch videos. I also like playing those room games when I'm on the plane. It's sort of like a special treat for me to be able to play that. So it's just a nice thing to have while you're out and about. The last thing that I like to pack is my little camera. It is a Canon G7X Mark II, and I can't show it to you because I'm currently filming this video with it. But what I really like about it is that it takes beautiful photos, yet it's so light and compact, so it's not as heavy to carry around as a DSLR. And you also stay in the moment when you're using a camera and you don't get distracted by the other aspects of your phone. And I just love having it to be able to take photos to remember my PhD experience by. And my friends really enjoy when I share the photos with them as well. And so if you don't have a camera, maybe consider getting one. It's certainly a nice to have, not a needs to have, but something that I haven't regretted this purchase whatsoever. And so I'll put a link to the description for the camera that I use in the description section so you can check it out if you're interested. My next tip is to actually start packing for a conference the week before you go, not the night before you go. The reason why is that A, it helps you to cut down on last minute laundry. B, it signals to you if you're missing something or you need to replace something. And so it gives you the time to realize, oh, I need to run this errand, and to not be stressed out again in the 24 to 48 hours before you travel, which then impacts your conference experience. So I highly recommend taking the entire week to pack. So my next tip is to plan your schedule in advance, which I know many of us do, but before doing that, I have found that I like to ask myself, what am I hoping to get out of this experience, so that I can then plan accordingly. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a hold of the conference program. That might come in the form of, on the website, you know, they have a PDF. It might be in the form of an app. Hopefully you don't have to wait to get a paper copy in person. And what you can be doing is you can be selecting your sessions in advance. Now, when picking sessions, there's a lot of things that I like to take into consideration. For example, which session topics am I interested in? Which session topics would help stretch me and help me to learn, even if it's not something that might be, you know, immediately relevant to my research or work. Perhaps it's a specific research method that they're using, or you just really want to get to know these presenters more. These are all good reasons to select a session. There might also be some times though when it doesn't make quite as much sense to attend a session. Instead, it might make more sense to allocate that time to having a meaningful coffee date with someone else who's attending the conference. You might want to book some of those in advance because people's schedules do fill up, or you might choose to save that time slot in case you meet someone there and you're like, hey, it'd be really cool if we could reconnect about that later on, using some of those time blocks towards that purpose. Another thing that I sometimes will do is, you know, I'm writing a dissertation right now. I'll ask myself, you know, might this be a good time block to help keep my dissertation moving forward? So sometimes I do take breaks as well, just to help keep that project on the move. Whatever you do, just make really good choices for you in terms of what you consider to be a good use of your time. My only recommendation is that you don't overdo it, so that when you get home, you're really tired and you're having trouble getting back into the routine of things, your work, that type of stuff. My next recommendation is to plan in advance how you would like to engage with the conference location. If you're traveling, this is an opportunity to learn about a new place that you might not have ever traveled to. Also, you know, it's an opportunity for you to give back to the community in terms of supporting its economy and just engaging with locals. So think about, you know, what are some things that you want to experience while you're there? How might you also invite other conference attendees to come and experience these things with you? My next tip, I want to come back to the food. So say I'm traveling to a conference and I've got my name tag. The next thing that I do is I go to the grocery store and I pick up healthy snacks and healthy items for simple meals. And the reason why I do this is that I find it helps my body just feel way more on routine, more healthy, as compared to when I'm surviving off of whatever I can find at the local Starbucks, having also waited in a very long lineup to get that food. So it helps to save money and you just feel healthier, and it also saves you time when you're at the conference by beating those lineups. So highly recommend going to the grocery store. Now, if you are a frequent conference attendee around the country in which you live, which I am, I live in Canada, I actually have, because I've also lived all over the country, I have grocery store discounts discount cards from major grocery stores across the country. And so while I'm packing, I'll take note of which grocery stores I'm likely to go visit, pack those grocery cards, and save myself a little bit of money while I'm there. My next tip is actually for when you get home from the conference, and that is to go through your conference notebook and figure out for yourself, what am I going to do now as a result of having attended this conference? Am I going to do something in my research or work differently? Do I want to follow up with someone who I met to ask more about an idea? These are just things that you want to think about so that you can actually get the investment that you made in terms of your time, in terms of your finances, or perhaps your workplace's, investment in you, to make good on that investment and to get a lot out of this experience so that you can maximize it. Do these things and you should find yourself having a conference experience that is full of learning, fun, and great memories. So now I turn it over to you. Is there anything that you like to do to prepare for conferences that I haven't yet mentioned that you think people watching this video might like to know? If so, comment down in the comment section so that we can all benefit from your ideas. And if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell button so that you can watch my next conference related video where I'm gonna actually take you to one of my upcoming conferences. Until then, feel free to enjoy some of the other videos that I filmed for my channel, and I wish you a most beautiful, productive week. Bye.